I couldn't really impress him, but when I came in from my first solo at Fort Lauderdale Executive, and they had this little restaurant across from the fixed base operator there where you rent your plane and such, and tie your plane down, you know, you like rent space to keep your plane, and so as I was coming, I was so scared on my first solo too. I was sweating so bad. My hands were so wet from sweat that back then there was no push buttons. It was like 1980, early 80s. I started taking lessons when I was 13. Since my dad was a pilot, he was hot to get me, he wanted to get me started early. But even then, man, the old man gave me lessons. He put his hand on my leg and wanted me to. He said, we can put the plane in the bank, 15-degree bank, and we can fly around and have sex in the back. Just like I always fucking got the actual assholes in the world. But anyway, so I dropped out at 13 and went back at 16. But you had to turn the dial, and I had to turn it from ground control to air traffic control to get permission to take off. And my hands were so sweaty, I couldn't turn the damn knob. So I had to take off my seatbelt and wrap it around to get traction, so I could turn the channel, the radio channel, to air traffic control before I took off. But then after that, everything was okay. And my cross country, my dad, I kept putting that on. My dad even offered to go with me because my first stop, Pahokee, you have to do a couple of them to get your license. Every time I would try to land, my plane would speed up. You're supposed to bleed off speed and get slower before you land. And I was real nervous. I was up there alone. There was no tower up. There's little hokey towns. They don't have people in their towers there. The windsock was like all shredded. There was like hardly any left. Because Pahokee's a real farming, real poor farming town. Finally, I'm flying around up there wondering what am I going to do. I saw smoke coming out of the stack, blowing the other way from what I thought. So I was landing with the wind. So I managed to get that under control. And both times. But the best was the first time, my first solo. But both times when I came back, my dad was at that little restaurant with a rose, just one little rose, but that was cool, in his hand to welcome me, tell me how proud he was of me. So that's like one of my best days.